so next step here, like we mentioned before, is to create a new project. Well, not create a new project, but to clone this and save it as a new project. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to call this the 8-inch material. I'm going to call it not 80, 8-inch block. Save that. And then I'm going to change the material or the setup here. And I'm going to put it exactly to what this width is. So it is 3 3/8. Not that. 3 plus 3/8. So 3/8 is 0.375, and I want 3. Okay. And then height, I have 8 inches. 8 inches. And I am 1 3/8 thick. It's just a little bit heavier than 3/8. So, was it 3/8 or 3/16? Hold on. Let's see what we've got. I'm sure this thing is actually uniform. Okay. So 3/8 is 6/16, 7/16, 1 7/16. 7/16 equals plus 1. Okay. That should be a little bit better. Okay. And you'll have to excuse the little bit of clunkiness with me going back and forth. I just barely put this virtual machine on my computer to run these, and I still getting used to Windows 11 and having this virtual machine on here. Okay, let me delete that. Did I already save it? I saved it as 8-inch. Okay, done it too many times where I wipe out my old program, or yeah, my old project. Okay, right now I'm just looking at the block to make sure that I know I have this little radius in here, but it comes in, I'm just measuring it here, it comes in at 2.5 from the right. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to mess this up. And I want to arrange that. Guess I do need to show more layers. You know what? I'm going to put, nope, not going to put that on. I'm going to put everything else on here just so I know that when I duplicate this out, I'm not missing anything. Okay. And then I'm going to create, since I have this new block size, I'm going to create an outline of the material size. That didn't work. There we go. Okay. And I want to align that and there and there. Okay. So basically, I know that I have a radius right here that I want to avoid. And it starts right here, which means, for example, I need to take all of this minus my alignment. And I'm going to rotate. Come on. All these shortcuts that I'm not used to. Okay, Control A. I don't want that. I just want to rotate this. I don't want that. So function, command, option. Okay, there. I was trying to get the snap option. So it's option. I have a Mac keyboard and I'm struggling with getting accustomed to the shortcut keys here in Aspire. The previous videos I was actually running on my old Windows XP, super old, desktop that I've had for years. And now we're onto my MacBook Pro and I'm rusty, so whatever. Okay, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to copy, paste, rotate, and then move this all up. And I'm hoping, golden, yes, perfect. I have plenty of space there. And I am going to center this one. Oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I can. I need to see if it's possible because I need to see that the radius here isn't going to cut into there. I'm just going to go ahead and, okay, the reason I'm drawing this in here is so that I can see, this is where, if you look back at my previous video, you'll see the radius cut out of this block that I glued together. I obviously don't want this or the alignment. Oh, that's going to create a complication, the alignment hole. I might just move all of this up and out of the way. You know, I can't tell. Okay, so this one. And this. And now I'll hold down Shift. Select all the other vectors. Okay. And I have to have enough space to cut that out without it interfering. Oh, but I also need to remember that these alignment holes are now going to need to be centered on this material. Okay, I'll have to tweak that around a bit. Okay. And honestly, I have to acknowledge I might just be overcomplicating all of this. Let me. I've been moving this accidentally. Oops. Since I know I have to have the alignment from the center, or at least symmetric, I can either put this dead center, and obviously I'll take some more time to make sure it is actually centered. Complication I'm realizing that I have is I need this to be centered because the only way it's going to work for me to flip this material over, I have to flip this whole block over to get the back cut out. And to do that, these have to be in the center. Okay, duh. Okay, the pieces that I don't want, I'm going to select first. Hold down Shift. And now hold down Shift and select all of this. Okay, it doesn't give me a great alignment hole. By the way, I keep referencing this spot here as the spot I need to have clearance to cut it out, but I'm just now realizing that that is a 3/8 inch. No, that's not. That is my 1/4 inch. Okay, that is the size of the cutter. Um, what I'm realizing is that these two as alignment holes might not work, but these two will. That's interesting. I'm probably going to have to swap it. I'll probably have to keep these alignment holes in and use an alignment hole up here. That or move them. You know what? I think I'm going to just either move them out here or move them out here so I can push this down. That's what I do. I don't know why I'm trying to overcomplicate it so much. And since I do have the material, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to push these out over here and over here. Yep. Let me do that. I'm going to first get that back where it's supposed to be. It should be. Yeah, it's not doing it, so I'm just going to delete it. Okay, and I don't actually need this one because I have this one here. And I'll clone this though. Um, I should have tossed it up here. I didn't. The recording thing is getting in the way. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I can see all of this. And I'm going to actually delete this one. I'm going to come back to this. You can see I'm not as proficient with navigating this computer, my trackpad. I'm going to group the objects. I'm going to center that. That didn't change it too much. And I'm already going to make an assumption that I'm going to go almost to the edge with this cutout. I do still want some materials. I want this. Actually, I want to add a center line here. And that is 0.25, that's a 1/4 inch. Why did I think? Or is that diameter? I hope that's diameter. Okay, that's better. Much better. Okay. I had me worried there. Okay, I'm going to align that. Just so that I can see if I keep moving this down, um, I need enough space between the next piece. So if I were to mirror this straight over this line, I need to make sure that I have enough space for the cutter to hit both. So if I have clearance here, that means I'm going to have clearance on the other side. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so that right there is the closest I can get it up there. Now, I don't, I don't think I need that spacing. So right now what I'm looking to do is center the pieces that are going to be cut out. So from here to here, I have a gap here. And then I'm just in my mind knowing that this 1/4 inch diameter bit is going to swing all the way around here to the cutout. And I want to make sure I have a little bit of material. So I'm trying to get this gap between, I know I haven't put the vector there, but this I'm just putting in my head over here. And then calculating or eyeballing the gap between here and trying to make them equal. I think that's pretty good. Um, so now what I need to do is first let me group these back, ungroup, make sure. Definitely do this, otherwise I mess up all of my onto original. There we go. Okay. And I have the different lines that show me they're in a different group. So I'm going to take that out of the picture, that out of the picture. This I need to make sure is aligned centered. And then, actually, no, I don't. I need to make sure that, okay, if I do it here, technically cutting outside of the piece, that would still give it alignment, but I want it to be fully inside the material. So if I do that, then I want to make sure that I'm not going to get just a teeny bit of clearance. And I do know that it's, sorry, I keep zooming the wrong way because I'm used to my scroll wheel, not the trackpad zoom. Okay, so I know that the material is just it'll probably break out. It'll probably more likely break out here because it's an end grain. But I don't think I mind. Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to flip them. Got my air compressor that automatically went off. Hopefully that doesn't create too much background noise. I'm going to flip these, flip about the center horizontally. Okay, now I've got my 2 alignment holes on the bottom. Cool. I feel pretty good about that. All right. This one's in a good spot. Now, let's, I don't want these or this or these. Everything else I think I want. So now that I've selected the ones I don't want, hold down Shift and select everything else. I'm going to copy, paste, double click, rotate, or 180, move this up and out of the way. Okay, and now technically I can bring it down to right there, and now we have a mirrored version of it. I know I could have just cloned them all over, but I my guess is cloning actually keeps them on the same layers, but just unsure, so didn't do it. All right, and then these alignment holes, I'm going to flip about vertical. Toss them. Oh, I thought I grabbed two. Alright, so we've got these two alignment holes. And yes, I would prefer to do it up on the top for the alignment, just so that it's only two. So they don't fight each other, and then it just makes it less complicated. But that's life. Okay. Now let me zoom back out. All right. I want to preview all except the back stuff. Oh, yes. Alignment holes. Let me go for the alignment holes. I lost that one. Get that one back in there. Okay. You'll notice that my cutout is naturally not deep enough anymore because I increased the size. So let me go back to change the size. Copy that. Cutout. I'm going to paste that and add 5 thousandths. So I'll put it to 8. Just so that the rendering shows the completely cut out view. Alright, these are the ones I want. I know it's the bottom, but I want to change it so I have a similar perspective that I've had before. Okay. One thing this does change since I've changed up the material thickness to be equal to what the blank is I'm cutting out of. Um, means when I cut the back out, what I will probably have to do is do the initial cut. I can go calculate it all, but I just don't always feel like doing that. Once I cut the initial, I know it's going to be a bit short, and then I'll come back in and have it do another. I will try to calculate it as close as I can, but I just don't know that I'll get it perfect. And the measurement wasn't completely awesome. Okay. The more I look at this, I want the cutout. I want these tabs to be actually quite a bit thicker. I probably want them to be, I'll try an inch. Since they're 3D, they're taking up less. Um, there's less material there. So I just want to make sure that I've got it's solid block holding it on, especially since um, these two pieces will be top and bottom from each other. And just notice that because of my offset, I'm going to reduce the offset here of the cutout because it's cutting into my alignment holes. So I thought it was on my cutout. Okay, it's a separate pass. 0.0125, 32nd of an inch, I think. Let's see, 0.065 be 16th, so even less than that. I don't do well with my decimal points and no, didn't want that. Reset. Okay, we're good there. It'll probably still break out, but at least I won't be cutting into the dowel there. let it break out or be paper thin. Either way, I'm okay with that. Okay, now technically, when I first do the alignment holes, let me go to the alignment holes. I need to cut all of them. So I'll calculate that. Go to other alignment holes, and now I will reorient this. So technically, the first one I'm cutting out is this one, and it'll be closer to me when I cut it out, which is just fine. Okay. Is there anything? All right. Now, if I were to change none of the toolpaths, I'm going to go into optimizing the toolpaths now, so I'll actually do that in a different video.